Hello, and I am Apurba Ranjan, and welcome to this presentation where we talk about the Whirlpool turbines, which are a new way to cost-effective hydroelectricity. So, when we talk about Whirlpool, when we talk about hydroelectricity in general, we specifically think about the huge dams built across the beautiful rivers. Well, often the cost of hydroelectricity, the cost of non-exhaustive resources comes at a cost of the destruction of nature around it, the destruction and disruption in the life of the beautiful flora and fauna found around these very river ecosystems. And as we attempt to reduce our carbon footprint on one side, we tend to remove thousands of flora and fauna from their ecological ecosystems from their very own homes. In order to bring about a change in this procedure that takes place, we have come up with the very idea of a new form of hydroelectricity generation process, a new device that has come into the play, that has come into the market, which is known as the Whirlpool turbine. So what exactly is this Whirlpool turbine? We'll be finding about it soon. The current problems that exist with the hydroelectricity generators, as I talked about, was the huge dams, the huge building costs that are required, which includes also relocation of the locals, also a series of check dams that are further requires to harness the electricity in full capacity. These dams disrupt the natural flow of river, killing the ecosystem nearby and greatly affecting the flora and fauna nearby. The flooding of the downstream floodplains as well results in the disruption of natural distribution of fishes as well as causes great harm to mankind as well. The objective of this project is basically using Whirlpool turbines is to make even the remote areas and settlements independent in terms of power electricity supplies. The Whirlpool turbine specifically would help achieve a new sense of self-independence to the remote communities that live along the riversides, which have been flourishing there for years without energy, and giving them a chance to have a new and better improved life with the help of access to free and cheap power, electricity. Places where these generators can be used include the small communities that lay scattered along the rivers, along the oceans, along the seas, along the water bodies, be it as small as a channel or as large as that of a river. Every village will be able to have guilt-free electricity without having to maintain huge amounts of bills to pay for electricity. How does this Whirlpool turbine work? The goal is to provide sustainable energy for remote communities in a manner that causes no harm to the environment, because after all, the very remote villages usually depend on the ecosystem around them to provide for them throughout. The Whirlpool turbine requires only a 1.5 meter height difference to work. Placement of the turbine in the correct location in turn becomes easier to find, while also helping keep the additional construction to a minimum. The flow of water creates a vortex that in turn moves the rotor and extracts the energy from the energy. The small pressure required for the movement of the turbine also allows for the construction of the system in areas of fairly shallow, slow moving water. Crucially, the design allows fish and other animal life to pass through the turbine unhurt. 15 kilowatts of energy are currently available for small communities, which is enough to power more than 30 to 40 homes inside a particular settlement. The vortex turbine is here explained using a drawing. It comprises of a sluice gate which is automatically opened and automatically closed to control the flow of water into the main channel system. The trash rack is generally used to prevent large pieces of debris which can possibly stop the rotor from moving further to move into the main channel. The core unit comprises of an efficient gearbox which helps in 24/7 power generation and helps in proper movement of the fan. The protective mesh prevents the large debris from falling over the turbine, and the fish-friendly vortex that is created inside this also prevents the even smaller fish which have passed through these protective meshes to pass through unhurt. The power electronics that are highly reliable from the EU manufacturers are carefully selected and have long lifespan and uninterrupted operation. And above all this, a remote control makes sure that no amount of overload takes place in case of the vortex turbine. The main advantages of using the Whirlpool turbines are as follows. The no flood risk. As they work together with nature, they do not obstruct the normal water flow and eliminating flood risks altogether, be it at a lower level even after the dam has been installed. The low maintenance cost, since it comprises only one moving turbine, is very much less as compared to those of the traditional dams, which usually require a lot of maintenance and whole lot of building costs as well. These are easy to install and are usually installed within a week itself and have a prolonged life, which makes sure that the maintenance costs are very less. It is nature friendly as well. The slow rate of pressure difference over the blade ensures that this turbine lets all fish in aquatic life pass by unharmed. However, there are a few disadvantages as well to this rotor. The rotor power output efficiency of the Darius energy conversion system is also somewhat lower than that of a horizontal rotor. Because of a Darius rotor, it is generally situated near ground. It may also experience low velocity wind compared to a tower mounted conventional wind energy conversion system of comparable projected rotor disk area and may yield less energy output. Properly, the bigger disadvantages with the vertical axis machines is that far less is known about them than the horizontal axis ones. This handicap is being rapidly removed. And as we see, one of the major concerns that remain throughout is the presence of what if the water gets frozen up. In cases when water gets frozen up completely, under those circumstances, the communities could switch over to solar power, which is again available throughout the year without any problems. On an ending note, the current trend of shift towards reliance on non-exhaustive resources, specifically on hydroelectricity, has seen a potential growth in implementation and utilization of Whirlpool turbines and might soon blow up in the near future as cutting-edge energy generation technology that makes more and more riverside settlements, however remote, self-dependent in terms of power generation and energy needs. So on a closing note, I would like to thank you all to be with me and bear with me till the end of this slide. And hopefully I can interest you more in the near future. Thank you and have a nice day.